Hi there, this is Chef Carlo with Nash Community College. Today we're going to demo how to steam lobsters. I like to steam lobsters because you can boil lobsters very fine, but the water gets into the lobster, they're going to come waterlogged. My personal opinion is the flesh absorbs more water. When you steam them, you attain actually more yield, and the meat is going to be more not packed with water, as you can squeeze it and the liquid will come out. These are 1.5 pound lobsters, which we got from the local supermarket, believe it or not, Harry's Theater. They have a nice fresh water tank. Smell the water tank. If it smells like the ocean, you're good to go. Smell your lobster before you cook it. It has to smell just like the ocean, no smell. I like to leave the bands on, make sure that they don't fight, but after we cook them, we remove the bands. I have a a steamer set up with a deep hotel pan and a perforated hotel pan on top. That's where we're gonna do the steaming of the lobsters. So join me over the line so you can see how we steam these bad boys. Okay, so we're gonna place our lobsters in the steamer. Make sure you don't crowd your steamer. There needs to be enough space for the steam to run around. These bad boys are about 1.5 pounds, so 8 minutes will be the way to do it. I use a hotel pan as a lid so the steam can stay trapped in there, and we will visit them again back in 8 minutes. 8 minutes have gone by. Be careful when you remove the lid from your steamer. Steam burns worse than water or fire. These are your beautiful lobster. They're perfectly steamed through. We're gonna let them rest. There's gonna be a little carryover heat in there, and that's gonna basically finish cooking our lobsters. This is how beautiful they look. They're gonna let them cool for about 50 minutes to be able to handle them, and then I'm gonna show you how to retrieve the meat. Okay, 50 minutes have gone by. Our lobster is nicely cooled off. Yes, you can work with it right after it comes out of the steamer. It's gonna be way too hot. I let it cool off a little bit. First thing I do is get rid of your rubber bands. They're not good eating. I know it's insoluble fiber, but it's not too good for your digestive tract. Okay, so this is the way I do it. There's a lot of videos out there on how to do this, but I just keep it simple. I take the first claw, second claw. I detach the tail. You're gonna pull and twist gently. That's the tail. Some of the tomale will come out. Some chefs will save that. I like it. I'm gonna open the head shell. And first, we will do a video also on how to use these shells to make a nice bisque, an original bisque. Pull the legs nice and gently. There's a lot of meat inside here, and I'll show you how to get to it. I will expose the tomale. This is basically the liver and the stomach. It has a lot of flavors. A lot of chefs like it. It's returned into sauces, and it's really good eating. I'm gonna save it for a sauce. And the rest is all stomach and connective tissue. This is gonna be great to make your bisque afterwards. I'm gonna remove the green out of the board. Some people might think it's not the most tasteful thing, but we're gonna get ready to get our lobster meat. The most precious one or a most appreciated one is the lobster tail. In this one, we're gonna try to keep it whole. I'm gonna just crack it open. Just if I was cracking shrimp, this one does not want to cooperate. Not a problem. We use the knife, cut just a little bit under the, just enough to crack that shell. I don't want to pierce through the meat because I want to keep the meat intact off the tail. A little bit messy, but it's going to be a delicious product at the end. That's your lobster tail right there. Now the knuckles, they're a little bit tricky. I like to break them into sections. After I break them into sections, I take my trusty hammer and just crack the shell a little bit. The claw, I pull it out. Was able to pull all the meat from inside there. Remember to keep all the shells. We're gonna make a beautiful bisque. And originally, to make your lobster rolls, they'll only use the knuckle. That's why they call them knuckle rolls. But we're gonna use our whole lobster to make our lobster rolls. You can use also a nut cracker or a specifically designed beautiful little plier to clean lobster. Ready there. Claw, I like to keep it whole in the sense for presentation purposes. Push the meat in. Repeat with the other section. Get the knuckles out, crack it into sections. And ladies and gentlemen, there is 1,000 ways of skinning a lobster or skinning a cat. This is the way I do it. Oh, and get ready to get messy. There's gonna be lobster juice all over. And your lobster is going to be perfectly cooked after 8 minutes in the steamer. You can use also the back of your knife. Got a jumper. You can also use a toothpick to help the meat out. I have been very successful. Usually just do it as is. All the meat comes up because the lobster is perfectly cooked. Don't take it longer than 8 minutes. Do not take it longer than 8 minutes in the steamer, and it's going to be pretty fine. Pull the claw gently backwards, then forward. We'll release the meat. Take care of your fingers. Don't get them caught in there. Expose the meat. Hopefully I'm giving you a good angle so you can see how it comes out. Claw number 2. And this is claw, knuckles, and tail. Now, remember those little legs we had before? It's kind of like a pain to clean this, but I learned a neat trick. Break these 2 sections off. Pull out, your meat will come out right away. If your meat doesn't come out, I learned this nifty little trick. Use a rolling pin. The rolling pin will allow you to get all the meat out of your lobster. And you want to use some kind of technique like this because lobsters are not cheap. They used to be dubbed the food of the poor back in New England of the 1800s. And then with time, as they were consumed by everyone, they became more popular. And of course, they became scarce. When something becomes scarce or non-existent, the good old supply and demand, the prices go up. Pull up. If the meat doesn't come out, no fear. The meat will come up. And I know it's looks like a tedious process, but it will yield a lot of meat out of your lobster. Pull back. This one, the meat all came. Remember, keep your shells. They're gonna make an excellent bisque in our next video. And I bet there has to be a scientific name for this joint. Chef Carlo called it the very end. Pull. If your lobster is properly cooked, it's gonna just slide off your shell. There's not gonna be a lot of waste. If you overcook your lobster, it will start losing meat and you will have a lot of shrinkage. Again, more meat coming from the claws. We can call it the wood rolling technique. And now you're free to do with your lobster whatever you please. At this moment, you can already cut it into medallions or whatever use you will have for your lobster. All right, and this is your finished lobster meat. Go ahead, put it in your risotto, put it in your lobster rolls. Just toss it in butter and enjoy it. I will just take this with a lot of melted butter and toasty bread. And that's your finished lobster. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the lobster bisque.